COVID and everything, or?
Yeah, I've had a couple. I've only had two. I've had two that have actually had it. I've had another couple that have been exposed and have been off for exposure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we've been lucky. So we got our first round of vaccinations last week, so we're good with that.
You know, here in Shelby County, I thought all of our sewer guys signed up to go take it, and somehow there was a mix-up at the health department. And they went ahead and did our police officers, but I don't know when they're going to get around to doing the. Tom, did any of your guys get vaccinated yet?
No, governor pushed us back.
They push you back?
Yeah, governor pushed us back to 1 seat.
Well, that might be another month then, won't it?
I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the 1B, and at the last minute when he put the official word out, he bumped us back to 1C again.
But or Scott Trees had it.
Yeah, everybody in.
Hi, Sandy.
Got that done. Hey,
Well, you know, I had it back in September, so I've got to go do a physical here at the end of this month. I'm gonna see if I have any antibodies from where I had it.
You had it? No, you had it, Steve.
Yeah, I had it in September. It was very mild, though. I mean, started out, I thought I had a sinus infection, and it was just I went through about 2 weeks of really just fatigue and no breathing issues. Never ran a fever. Never lost taste or smell or nothing. So
see, having a 4 and 2-year-old with all the stuff they bring home to me, I probably have had it a couple times and don't know what it is.
Well, you know, we had a police officer come in the other day. He gave blood back on Veterans Day, and they checked his blood and said he had antibodies, but he never remembered being sick or nothing.
Really?
But they said he had antibodies. But he said, well, I don't know when I was sick because I never remember having any symptoms or nothing. So
right.
Somebody else told me that if you give blood, they check it automatically to see if.
Yeah. If you give blood, they automatically check you.
That's actually, they ought to be promoting that as a way to get people to give blood. Hey, Allie.
Hi, Allie. Posting up in here. Do you want to come in here with me?
Sure, I guess I'm
Do you want to?
I was in here for the RPC, but I can go.
Yeah. Do you have a laptop or something?
I just do it on my phone.
Oh, you're just on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can message me too.
I'm like, dude.
Trying to concentrate.
Yeah. And then I like turned my camera off. Oh, I see you went into hiding.
Hi, Justin. This is Jim Bruno.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe that would be kind of annoying. 'Cause
Brandon Beckley disguised as Keith Morris.
Yeah, I know. He looks a lot like Keith Morris, doesn't he? Who is that Brandon guy?
Now you can probably hear us. What's up, Keith? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, not now. I got it now. Can you hear me? Russ, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, buddy.
I see that Justin's giving me a new name, Brandon Beckley. It's good to see there.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. We said,
Yeah, we were just commenting on that. That's not me. I think that's you, isn't it?
That's my alias.
Oh, is
I
that
didn't know
your
everybody's
alias?
going to find
Okay.
out today. Yeah, great.
Everybody guessing. It's like, man, that Brandon looks a lot like Keith.
Oh, Scott, he can't hear us. He needs a plant or something back there in his office.
Nah, just that filing cabinet.
That's right.
yeah, plants, you have to take care of those.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, mine's about to die. So.
All right, we'll give it another minute or so here, make sure everybody
All
gets
right.
in.
Jim. Let's see. Jim.
All right, I think we'll go on and get started. Looks like we got a great crowd today. Good to see everybody. Call the meeting to order at 31. And Rachel, so I guess I'll ask everybody to keep your microphone muted, and unless you're called upon, or unless if you got something you want to bring up, certainly raise your hand or unmute yourself and speak up. Otherwise, it'll just keep the noise down. But we'll let Rachel call the roll and move forward.
Okay, Russ Rose.
Here.
Scott Treese.
Here.
Kevin Nuss. Keith Griffey.
Here.
Arthur Jones. Jerry Kennedy.
Here.
Jim Grinnell.
Here.
Jeremy Rainey. Stephanie Laughlin.
Here.
Wesley Sidner.
Here.
Tom Doyle.
Here.
Pete Hedges.
Here.
Melvin Phoenix. Keith Morris,
Here.
Jody Bramblett, Jim Hoskins, Neil Martindale, Mark Bates, Terry Roach.
Here.
Okay. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got two sets of minutes to approve this meeting. Minutes from our regular October 13th meeting and then the special meeting on November the 20th. So hopefully everybody's had an opportunity to look at those. And if you have, we'll accept the motion to approve one or both of those.
Russ, I can make that motion, but I've got a couple, a correction on the, and it's probably my fault for being who I am, but so they've still got me down as Newcastle Water in the minutes, which I am no longer Newcastle Water. So I just want to make sure we get that noted.
Need to change Scott to LaGrange Utilities. Okay, so
Got it. Thank you.
we've got a motion from Scott to approve both the minutes with that correction. Do we have a second? Second from Tom Doyle. There we go. So all in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Raise your hand or speak up. Okay, so the minutes are approved. So we've got several guests today, and the first one coming up is Sandy Williams. Sandy is the new Deputy Executive Director for KIA. And Sandy, we're certainly glad to have you here today, and glad for you to be able to come give us an update on what's going on with KIA.
Well, Russ, thank you very much. I'm going to have to say it's good to be back. So I see a lot of faces that I've worked with in the past. This is my third time at KIA, so hopefully this time will stick. The last stint I had was at KIA was as an analyst for about 12 years. And like I said, I see a lot of faces and names that I've worked with before. So I'm looking forward to working with you all again, and looking forward to meeting the new faces. So thank you very much for the invitation today.
All right.
I don't have a whole lot in the way of an update, other than just to give you all a little bit of what's been going on with the call for projects. So that call for projects ended on December 4th. This year, there were 99 clean water projects that submitted and 111 drinking water projects that submitted. The clean water projects were just over 521 million, and the drinking water projects totaled just slightly under 238 million. So KIPDA's piece of that is 15 projects, 14 clean water and 1 drinking water. And I believe that drinking water project had an invitation out of fiscal year 21. So we're looking forward to getting that project approved. And actually, I say that, I didn't check to see if it's already been to the board. So I've only been back for about not quite a month and a half. And I apologize if I'm not 100% back up to speed yet. So I will let everybody know that in November, I was talking with some of the folks up at EPA headquarters, and they advised the states that the the next cycle of federal money coming to KIA to do the SRF projects is expected to be similar to that that we received in 2021. So the total amount of funding that we have available should be about the same. And so I started with the total number of clean water and drinking water projects that we had submitted. So we had 99 clean water projects this year, and that compared to 70 last year. And there were 77 drinking water projects last year, and that went up to 111 this year. So we're going to have about the same amount of money and slightly more projects. So hopefully we'll get to fund all the ones that are ready to go. And with that, that's my update. We're working with Division of Water to get, well, Division of Water is doing the ranking on the projects, and we're working with them to help determine project eligibility. And I guess that's all I have. So thanks again, everybody.
Well, thank you. And, right now, super cheap money at KIA, and I don't think you're gonna find it cheaper anyplace else. So even anywhere from 0.25% to 2.5%, it's all super cheap money. So, all right, thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.
All right, next on our list is Russell Neal from Division of Water, and Russ is going to give us an update on what's going on at Division of Water. And I think I saw him. I got a bunch of people on my screen.
I'm here. I'm in the blue little jacket.
Oh, I see you now. Okay. Hey, Russell, good to see you.
Good to see you all. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to Justin for inviting me, and thank you, Russ, for this opportunity as well. This is probably the second or third time I've been to a KIPDA meeting. So just to let you all know who I am, my name is Russell Neal. I am a supervisor in the Division of Water for the municipal planning section. The municipal planning section contains clean water and drinking water planning. So we do everything from the drinking water sanitary survey to reviewing your environmental projects for the state revolving fund. Another major role we play is, as Sandy was saying, we do rank the projects for SRF. So we are in the midst of that right now. And so hopefully everyone's getting their project profiles updated and completed so we can accurately do that. The first thing I'd like to lead off with is I have some sad news. Sad for the division, I'm sure for some or most of you all too. Anshu Singh, who was previously the supervisor in my position, has submitted her resignation here in the last week or so. Anshu is moving on to the Federal Aviation Division and will be working remotely for them. Her last day is this Friday, January 15th. And she is moving on to become an environmental reviewer for the Federal Aviation Division. So we definitely wish her the best of luck. I'm sure she will do well based upon her knowledge and experience that she has gained here in the Division of Water. So unfortunately, that means anyone on the clean water side that was previously working with Anshu, you have to work with me now. So there you go with that. So I will do my best to fill her shoes. She led a lot of the Clean Water SRF initiative and also helped me out in viewing some environmental documents. So I'm now the contact person for the Clean Water and the Drinking Water SRF in the division. So I will be the main person with a team, the main person going through and ranking and prioritizing the clean water and drinking water projects. So moving forward, if you have any questions that the Division of Water can answer regarding your project profiles and the ranking, please contact me. And I'll provide my information towards the end of my short presentation. As far as the current SRF year goes, the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority is providing a short window of time to finalize any project profile updates. I've been in touch with Don Shire with KIA, and he has stated to me that KIA is giving the ads and the systems until January 18th, which is, I believe, the end of this week, to update those project profiles. And once that's done, those profiles will be locked, and we will have those to begin ranking projects. Just as Sandy said, there are 99 clean water projects this cycle and 111 drinking water projects. So there is a greater number on both sides. So this means that it's going to be a little bit more competitive this year to receive money. So it's essential that as you're updating these project profiles and you're going through what's the information that's in the WRIS, that you state in those project profiles the full scope of work in as much detail as is practical at this point. Check all the boxes, work with Justin to check all the boxes that apply for your project, so that there's fewer questions that we might have, so that we don't have to annoy you or annoy Justin or anyone else at KIPDA to get additional information. That allows us to get the ranking done quicker and allows KIA to move forward in inviting attendees ultimately. As far as changes to the SRF ranking criteria for this cycle, the biggest change is in the area of asset management. Prior to this cycle, points were allowed for a capital improvement plan or asset management plan, and I believe that was 10 or 20 points. As of this cycle, you will see in the clean water and drinking water guidance manuals that the asset management portion has been expanded. So what we have done is we have taken into consideration recent federal legislation regarding the America's Water Infrastructure Act of 2018, which expands on the state's roles in assisting water and wastewater systems with asset management planning. We do have the asset inventory requirement on the wastewater side, but there is no requirement of asset management on the drinking water side. So this is basically laying the groundwork for any kind of future regulations for asset management or any kind of future plans for asset management we have for clean water and for drinking water. So as of this cycle, the changes to asset management are, if there is a full asset management plan, which contains an asset inventory, strategic plan, and capital improvement plan, those projects and those systems can receive 50 points. If your system just has a capital improvement plan and an asset inventory, you can receive 30 points. Or if you have just a capital improvement plan or just an asset inventory, you can receive, I believe, 10 points. And the definitions, I won't go through all of that criteria on this call today because I don't want to put people to sleep and bore you to death. But those definitions and those criteria are in the Clean Water and Drinking Water 2022 SRF guidance documents. So if you do not have a copy of that, please email me or email Justin, and we will get you a copy of that so you can look at that. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to call me or email me. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So just remember to review those project profiles, make sure they're up to date and as accurate as possible by the end of this week. If there's any information that the Division of Water needs to more accurately rank and prioritize your project, we will be contacting Justin first, since he is the main go-to person there at KIPDA. So any questions that we have for you will be funneled through him, and any responses that we receive will also be funneled through him as well and through KIA. We're working closely with KIA to make sure we're meeting all of our timeline goals to get out to get you these this funding as soon as possible. I've not met Sandy personally yet. I'm looking forward to meeting her, and I'm looking forward to one day of this dang coronavirus is over so we can all actually physically meet. I think this continuing all this video chat is necessary, but I'm looking forward to a day when we can move forward from that. So essentially, if you have any questions, please contact me. My work phone number is 502-782-7026. Again, that's 502-782-7026. Or you can email me at russell.neal@ky.gov. So that's RUSSELL.Neal, NEAL, @ky.gov. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Russ.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And I know Russell's always been readily available anytime we've needed him, and appreciate that, and always able to get a hold of him and get our questions answered. So thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
We'll move right on down the line. So most of you, or a lot of you, may already know Allie. Allie Terrell is with HomeServe and ServeLine, and she's here to tell us a little bit about her product and how she may be able to help some of our water and wastewater systems.
Thanks, Russ. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to come present today. I greatly appreciate the opportunity. I'll try not to take too much of your all's time or bore you too much. Is it okay if I share my screen, Justin, to do the presentation? Okay, cool. All right, so just give me a second here, and I'm going to try to pull up my screen. So maybe. Oh, maybe not. Hold on just a second here. Figure it out. All right. So can you all see my screen? I'm going to put it into the slideshow. Just want to make sure you all can see it though.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Maybe if I can, if it'll work today. Okay, finally got it. Anyway, my name is Allie Terrell, and I am here today on behalf of HomeServe. So I'm actually originally from Moorhead, which is not too far from most of you all. I graduated from Moorhead State just a few years ago. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about infrastructure in the US, particularly in Kentucky, some issues that come about with aging infrastructure, such as water loss, and then some of the products and things that we have available that can help alleviate some of those burdens that come with that. So kind of getting into talking about asset planning, as Russ was kind of mentioning before, I've met with hundreds of utilities across the country. And anytime we're asking them about, do you have some form of an asset plan? What is your infrastructure needs in the coming years? Like, what does that look like for you? And a lot of times the answer that we hear is, we just don't have time. And I totally get it. Working in the water industry, this is not your standard sort of 9-to-5 job. It really is a 24/7 deal. And, as a utility manager, or you're working in a utility, you're kind of putting out fires everywhere, and you're managing a lot. So you're just trying to get through that day to day. But I just want to emphasize that it is so important to have some form of a plan. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect by any means, but something. Because looking at, the tidal wave, so we dubbed it, that's coming at us, from the American Society of Civil Engineers, they put out a study a couple years ago stating that in the US, we're going to need over $1 trillion for water and wastewater infrastructure. And of that $1 trillion, we need about 14.5 billion here in Kentucky, which is, a lot of money. I don't know very many people who have billions of dollars just sort of laying around. And it's a big deal because we don't have the funding that we need to replace our water and wastewater infrastructure. In comparison to other infrastructure, our roadways, airports, electricity, most of those are almost fully funded. Whereas in the water industry, we are a little behind those industries. We were actually in DC, this has been a couple years now, and we were speaking with a congressman who was on the Appropriations Committee, and we were discussing infrastructure. And so we brought up, okay, well, what about water? What's the funding look like for that? And the congressman literally said, well, what about water? So this man who's on the Appropriations Committee wasn't considering water into the infrastructure funding. And I get it, you know, our infrastructure's under the ground. You're not looking at it every day like you are electricity pole or a roadway. But it's so important that we are funding this and advocating for that. Especially since there are a lot of issues if we're not getting the proper funding, if we're not taking care of our infrastructure or getting projects done that the way we should, we can end up with some huge problems. So in some cities across this country and utilities, people have decided to sort of ignore these problems, or maybe they didn't have the adequate funding, so they're kind of pushing the can down the road, only to be slapped with a consent decree. So here's just a few examples. There are a ton that are listed on the EPA's website. But if you're not familiar with the consent decree, basically what happens is if you're not providing, you know, adequate clean water, or you're not treating your wastewater properly, there's a whole number of issues. But the state and the federal government, they get involved. There is legal action, so you do have to get an attorney involved, a lot of fees associated with that. And then you have to end up paying large fees to both the state and federal governments. And then now you have to fix that project that you've been kind of pushing off for a while. So in a lot of these situations, you know, they originally had to fix this one project, but because of all the fees and everything else and the time that gets associated with the consent decree, that problem just increased by tenfold. So it's not a problem we can just sort of ignore. We have to get ahead of our infrastructure and figuring out, you know, where we're at, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. So part of that is fun stuff, you know, show me the money. Where's this going to come from? And I wish I could sit here and tell you that there's one solution that's going to solve all of your funding issues. If there is one, please let me know. I've yet to find it. But our biggest thing that we try to advocate for is you got to break it down into pieces. So some of this funding will come from your rates and your rate policy. You know, it's something we should be reviewing pretty frequently. Are we acclimating our customers to regular rate increases? You know, I've met several utilities and cities who take great pride in not raising their rates for, you know, 20, 30 years, but the cost of production does go up. And so then after, you know, 10 or 20 years of not raising rates, you now slap your customers with, I've seen 50, 60% rate increases, and it comes very tough on their customer base. There are other things like the federal and state grants that you can apply for. We've actually worked with Congress. One of the things that they're looking at for organizations as far as money allocation is they want to give money to those that are helping themselves. So a big part of that is utilizing resources, taking advantage of public-private partnerships, those sorts of things. If you have any questions about that, I can explain all that at a later date and have some information on that as well. But then there are other things like if you're a member of the Kentucky Rural Water Association, I highly recommend that you reach out to those folks. They've got all kinds of programs out there that can help you with different things. I know there's efficiency programs that can help you with rate studies, tariff filing that you may have to do. So anything of that nature, you know, definitely reach out to them. And then portion that I'm going to talk about is Servline. So we are just a piece of the puzzle. Again, you know, we're not going to be able to solve everything, but we can kind of help you chip away at that 14.5 billion we all have to come up with. So as I said, as infrastructure gets older and it ages, we're going to have more problems. One of the biggest problems that we have is customer leaks. It has a huge impact on the customer, your utility or city, and your community. So just how big of an impact is this really? In the US, we're losing over 1 trillion gallons of water every year due to leaks. And to put that into perspective of just how much that is, that equals about the average annual usage of 11 million homes. So this is water that we are treating, we're putting chemicals into, we're putting all of our energy into, only for it to essentially go back into the ground. And this has a big effect, you know, considering we have miles and miles of pipe that have been in service for decades. So a lot of that's coming up to end of their useful life. On top of that, we have about 250,000 of breaks every year, just on the residential side. And that is money that we're losing. So EPA estimates that we lose almost $3 billion in revenue every year just from customer leaks, customer leak adjustments and those sorts of things. And so it's a lot of water that gets lost, even more so because customers have to pay for a high water bill, but they also have to pay to have that leak repaired. So that can be a lot of money too. If it's not repaired in a timely fashion, it's even more water lost, even more revenue lost. So it does, as I said, have a huge impact on, from the customer perspective, most Americans, most homeowners, I should say, don't realize their responsibility when it comes to their service lines. I think for all of us here, it seems like common sense that the service line that's in the ground on your property that connects to your home would be your responsibility. But as I'm getting older, the more I realize common sense isn't as common as it should be. But they don't have awareness of their responsibility. Sometimes they think their homeowner's insurance will cover those service lines. When they get a high water bill, they don't realize that it's their responsibility either. Then they're faced with a financial hardship. And in my experience, I have seen leaks very commonly get into hundreds of dollars. I've even seen a ton of them get into thousands of dollars. So it's hard on these customers to come up with this money that they just don't have laying around. Most Americans can't afford a $500 emergency. And even with the state of Corona and everything that's happened over this past year or so, people just don't have those funds. And then from the utility perspective on this is that you have to deal with these angry and upset customers. It's a lot of time that gets taken away from your staff. If you do offer any form of a leak adjustment policy, that is money that you guys are losing every year in revenue. Another thing too is if your homeowner or customer can't afford to pay for their high water bill, you may offer them a payment plan because you want to help them out. But with that, you're no longer just a utility. You've now become a bank with 0% interest, more or less. So it's a lot of time, a lot of money that's wasted for the utility. And even if you are offering them a leak adjustment, most customers still aren't appreciative of it. They feel like that they shouldn't have had to pay any of that bill. Even though you're doing something that's very generous, it's not something that you all are required to do by any means. So it doesn't seem to be a win-win situation for the customer or for the utility in this sort of situation. So fortunately, there are programs out there. Today, I'm going to talk about the programs that HomeServe offers. We have a few different ones that deal with high water bills and deal with the service lines. And so for the first one, or to give us some background, I guess, about us, is that Servline, we used to be a division of Sunbelt Insurance, but over the last year, I guess it was a year ago in December, HomeServe acquired Servline. So we are an affinity partner with the National Rural Water Association, as well as with Kentucky Rural Water and about 30 other state associations. We've also been endorsed by the National League of Cities for our service line program. In Kentucky, we're also endorsed by the Kentucky City and County Managers Association. And then currently we have over 1,000 partners here in the US, and in Kentucky we have, I think it's 18 now. As I said, though, we have a few different products. Our first one is the Servline leak protection that's dealing with those high water bills. And then our other protections are the exterior lines, so your water lines, sewer lines, and then the interior plumbing and drainage protection as well. So I'll talk about all of those sort of separately very quickly. That way I don't try to muddy the waters too much here. And again, you guys can feel free to interject if you have questions as I go through any of this. You can also put them into the chat function as well. And then at the end, I'll open it up for questions too. So the first one I'm going to talk about is our Servline leak protection. This one pays for those high water bills due to customer leaks. Basically, what we do is we come in to enhance and ensure your current leak adjustment policy. So as a utility, you all will choose a limit of coverage for all of your customers. We have a few different options. And then you would choose a launch date of when you'd like this program to go into effect. So a couple months prior to the launch of the program, our team puts together we call it a marketing brochure. It's really more of an educational component that will go out with your customers' utility bills. So on this brochure, we outline, the responsibilities of the homeowner as far as for their service line. We let customers know their responsibility for leaks. And then we also inform them about these coverages that are available to them now. And then on this brochure, there's a phone number, and it's a dedicated customer service number. It's specific to your utility. So whenever we answer the phone, we answer it as XYZ Utility Serve-Line Program. So it seems like it's going to another department for your group, and these call centers are based in Tennessee. So they're not going to be transferred over to like a foreign country or anything of that sort. But in this situation, we're going to handle all of those customer service interactions. You all no longer have to deal with those phone calls. We handle all of the claims, all the follow-up, all of the back-end support for your leak adjustment policy. And what this will cover is one leak every 12 months up to the limit of coverage of your choosing. Typical cost for this for the customer is about $1 to $2 per month. That price does vary amongst our partners. And the reason for that is we tailor each of these programs specifically to your utility. So it's based on number of connections, leak history, leak adjustment policy, those sorts of things. An example of how this would work is if a customer gets a really high water bill one day, they realize they have a leak. They simply call that phone number. We ask a few questions, just verifying there was a leak, that they've gotten it taken care of. Once that claim has been approved, we notify the utility. Hey, customer so-and-so is filing a claim. It's been approved. Customer will pay their average bill to the utility. Anything above that, up to a set limit, up to your limit of coverage, we pay directly to the utility. So, let's say a customer gets a $500 water bill, average bill is $50, customer pays $50, we pay $450 directly to the utility. So in this situation, you guys can now offer them a leak adjustment. This one's probably better than the one you currently have, since this will cover 100% of the leak. There's no lost revenue for this. We can help alleviate some of that bad debt. There are a lot of customers who maybe have to go on payment plans and those sorts of things because they can't afford it when they get a high water bill due to a leak. So we help alleviate some of that workload burden. For this program, there is no contract for the customer or for the utility. There's no cost to the utility to participate in this as well. We don't charge any sort of deductibles, hidden fees, service charges, anything of that sort. So in summary, that is our Serve-Line leak protection. Again, this is very customizable to each of our partners. So, you guys just tell us what you need or want, and we'll do our best to accommodate that. But in summary, we have a 96% participation rate across the country. Some of our partners who have been with us since the very beginning are sitting at about 99% participation rate amongst their customer base. We've been doing this for almost a decade, and we've actually just signed on several new partners. So we're at, I think it's almost 170 partners across the US just for our Serve-Line program. And again, we are an affinity partner with Kentucky Rural Water and National Rural Water for this program. So that one's in summary there. If you guys have questions, feel free to chime in or put them into the chat function. And then now I'm going to talk about our service line program. Go through this one pretty quickly. This one will cover for the customer side of their service lines up to $10,000 per incident. And this will cover from wherever their point of responsibility is. A lot of times it's from the meter to the foundation of the home is what we'll cover, kind of however you all define it. This can go for both water lines and sewer lines. We'll cover repairs, replacements. Sometimes sewer lines will get clogged with like tree roots or different things. We'll cover that as well. There are no annual or lifetime limits on this program. It's $10,000 for each occurrence, no deductibles, service fees. There's no forms or paperwork for this. And how it works for a customer perspective is it's that same phone number that's on that brochure. They call us, say, hey, my water line's leaking, I think it's broken, I need someone to come look at it. We will dispatch a local licensed plumber or contractor in your area. They'll go out, assess the situation. Then if the line needs to be repaired or replaced, they'll, do whatever has to be done to fix it. Then we actually pay those plumbers and contractors directly. So your customer's never paying out of pocket for this. And then another, benefit to partnering with HomeServe is that we have a network of local licensed plumbers and contractors in every area that we have a partner. And with that, they go through a rigorous vetting process. We make sure they're insured, they do quality work, they pass a drug screen, that kind of thing. And the purpose for that is, one, to help keep the money local in your economy. Another thing too is they're going to know the area better than we would. They're going to know certain codes or permits that they may need to pull. And also, you don't want just anyone working on these lines, considering it connects onto your main systems. And then with this too, we do this all across the country. So we know what it costs to repair or replace these lines, and we can help prevent any sort of price gouging or anyone trying to play a game or take advantage of someone in need. But with this program, no cost to the utility or city for this to participate. This actually can be an additional revenue stream for the city or utility. We offer a royalty, which is based on the number of customers who participate. So it's completely optional to you all if you want the royalty or not. We pay that every January. We don't put any stipulations on how that money is used. Some of our partners will use it for infrastructure projects. Others have done, community projects and things. So that money is really up to you all how you would like to use it. And then lastly, we have our in-home plumbing coverage. This one is for the pipes, supply and drain lines that are inside of the home. That covers up to $3,000 per incident. No deductible service fees, kind of all the same as the exterior line coverages. We still use someone in our contractor network to fix it. No cost to city or utility to participate. And there's also a royalty available for this program as well. So in summary here, we have a few different programs that can deal with customer leaks, dealing with those high water bills and leak adjustments. I know that the Public Service Commission has made it a big goal of theirs to help reduce water loss for utilities across the state. This can help alleviate some of that. We also have protections for the service lines. All of these programs, they're kind of a la carte, so you kind of pick and choose what works best for you and your community. And we'll work with you to tailor this to whatever you all need. And then lastly, on the leak adjustment, the serve line one, we can cover if you are a sewer district. We do have a variation of that for high sewer bills as well. So that's all I have today. My contact information is here on the screen. So if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to chime in here. You can. And if you'd like a copy of this presentation or any additional info, just please let me know. I'd be more than happy to reach out.
Thank you, Allie.
Yeah, thanks.
Any questions right now for Allie, or like say, take her information down and feel free to contact her at a later time.
Yeah, and Justin also has my information as well too. I'll just leave it up here for a second. So, but yeah, if you guys have any comments or anything, any feedback, I'd greatly appreciate it too. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks a bunch. We appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, well, thank you all. I appreciate it.
All right. So that brings us to Justin's water management coordinator's report, and take it away.
First, I just want to make sure that everybody gets accounted for. There's a couple people on the Zoom meeting that I wasn't sure who they are. The Fitzner, who is Fitzner?
Michael Fitzner's with Louisville MSD in our finance group.
Got you. Okay. Want to make sure we got him accounted for. And then the 528-5509 number. Want to make sure that we got you on the minutes as well. You unmute yourself to 502-528-5509. They may already left us here. Nope, they're still there. I don't know if they can hear me or not. I'll circle back with them, but I just want to thank everyone. Sandy, thank you so much for being here with us today. Really great to have you introduce yourself. We really look forward to working with you and all the great work that I think your reputation already precedes you, but we really appreciate your time today and thank you for joining us. And Russell, it's always a pleasure to have you with us as well. Speaking, that's a bummer about Anshu. She's been such an asset to KIPDA, and we'll definitely miss her, but we wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors. And thank you so much, Russell, for your presentation today. And I just want to reiterate to all the system operators and directors that with the SRF projects, that asset management plan, those 50 points, those are pretty integral. I can really help you out. If there's a capital improvement plan, a lot of the engineering firms that we already work with can help you. If you don't have one of those, we can assist you with forming those as well. And with the asset inventory, as you already know, Zach Herzog, our GIS specialist, and myself, we already help you with those asset inventory reports through the portal. So it wouldn't be hard to kind of amplify those and make sure that those are sufficient enough moving forward so we can get you those 50 points for any SRF projects that you guys are looking to apply for. And Allie, wow, that is a great program. I think that all of our systems should definitely be interested in that. And if anybody wants to reach out to me personally, I can help connect you with her and with the Servline. And I think that is an awesome opportunity. I'm so glad to have you today, Allie. Thank you so much for that presentation. And if anybody wants to learn more about that, I have more information in her contact, so I can reach out to you guys after that as well. Just let's see, we applied for SRF funding for 15 projects in the KIPDA region this funding cycle. Every county in our region had a project except for Spencer County, but every other county in our region had a project that was applying for SRF funding this go around. So definitely the largest amount of SRF applications we've ever had in my tenure here with the agency. And I really appreciate everybody's willing to work with me on those. There was a crunch in December to get them all together, but I think we did an excellent job. And I really appreciate Russell and Anshu's input as we went along with that. They are great to work with. We have now, like Russell was saying, we have now heard back from KIPDA regarding all of those comments on each SRF project application. And I'm currently in the process of responding to those comments and working with all the systems who applied. Those are coming up here soon though. So all of you on this Zoom meeting, you know who you are. We definitely need to get together this week and make sure we wrap those up so we can move forward in a timely manner. KIPDA GIS specialist, Zach Herzog, and myself, we've begun conducting all of our fiscal year 21 system visits with all of you all. We've already had a few, but all the ones coming up here, I think it's a pretty good approach that I have of sending you all questions, and instead of just sending you guys the system data report, which is kind of convoluted to go through everything. I'm just going to send you those questions so you can already try to put all that information together for when we come to your system that day. So we're not spinning our wheels. We can already go over it and then work on the mapping mainly while we're there. But I'll make sure that I get you those. My goal is to get you those questions 2 weeks in advance before each system visit. That's been working out fine so far. It worked out. It's a little different last year because the pandemic was, on us right when we were conducting these. But moving forward, I'd like to get you those 2-3 weeks out. So then when I come out there that day, we can go over them and I can get them updated in the portal as soon as possible. The Kentucky Rural Water Association is offering a drinking water webinar on chlorine dioxide, algae control, and corrosion control on Tuesday, January 26th. You can register for that on their website. And as of now, the KRWA Management Conference is still scheduled in person. It's this April, fingers crossed with everything moving forward. We can start to get back to that, like Russell was saying earlier. But that's going to be April 6th and 7th at the Holiday Inn, University Plaza, and Sloan Convention Center in Bowling Green, where it's been in previous years, a great conference. And then the Kentucky Water and Wastewater Operators Association is also holding some upcoming trainings as well. There's going to be a general technical training held via Zoom 2 weeks from tomorrow, or 1 week from tomorrow on Wednesday. going to be holding their 63rd annual conference, April 18th through the 22nd in Owensboro at the Owensboro Center. So hopefully we can put this behind us, fingers crossed, with the vaccine and start to get back in person and working as well as we do together. With the coming new year, it's also time to hold our call for nominations and to elect our 2021 KIPDA Regional Water Management Council officers. As you know, Russ Rose is our our chairman. He's been serving that role now, I think, coming up on 3 years. I couldn't ask for a better partner in crime. I think Russ is wonderful at the job. I would be thrilled to have him be the chairman again. But if anybody has any other nominations for our chairman, I'll entertain those. Our co-chair in 2020 was Ted Chisholm with LaGrange. He has since been replaced by Scott Treese, who left Newcastle to go to LaGrange. So I guess we need a new co-chair since Ted has retired on us. So that is one bit of business we do need to move forward with here. So I guess open it up if you want to unmute yourself. If anybody would like to try to take on that co-chair role, or Russ, if you're just done being the chairman, which fingers crossed you're not, but if anybody else would like to take that on, I guess we could open the Zoom meeting up to that discussion, or any nominations now for chairman and co-chair for our council this fiscal year 21.
Sure, it's open. If somebody else would like to step in, there's no problem there.
I do nominate Russ Rose as chairman.
Gotta get a second.
Second that.
All right, so we got Brandon Beckley and Scott Treese. I'm joking.
Oh, come on, man.
Scott Treese. What about a co-chair? Anybody feeling the co-chair this year? Just in case our leader, Russ Rose, can't make it.
I should fill Ted's shoes.
You think Scott should fill Ted's shoes?
Yeah, why not?
What do you think, Scott?
I can't nominate, so someone else.
My foot's that big. Ted's a lot bigger than me.
Nobody jump all at once now.
Well, if I could nominate again, I'll nominate Scott Treese as co-chair.
Thanks, Brandon.
Scott, looks like you're having another capacity. What do you think?
I'll do it. I'll take it.
All right, we appreciate you. It's always a pleasure working with you. All right, can I get a second for Scott Treese as our co-chair for 2021 Regional Water Management Council?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Keith. All right. We got that in there. And lastly, the Community Development Block Grant for Public Facilities application window opens in March or April. We still haven't found that out. Usually in March, but might be in April this year since they're so inundated with the CARES Act funding and other funding issues that have arisen with the pandemic. So that will be opening up in March or April and usually closes at the end of June. Please begin thinking about if you have any projects that we're wanting to apply for at CDBG funding. Reach out to myself or our director, Danielle Story, and we'll be happy to help you guys get those applications going. And it's all the CDBG is always great to help leverage any funding with SRF or EDA or any other funding that you guys are looking for. And we can begin getting that started and conducting any income surveys or making sure that you guys, those projects will be eligible. But that's about all I have. Last bit of business. I'm going to turn it over to Tom Doyle. We have one new project that we need to get council approval for. Tom has a project. It's titled the Norfolk Southern Sewage Pump Station and Force Main Project. And Tom's with us today. He's more familiar with it than I am. So Tom, if you want to go ahead and give the council the project description, need and budget and schedule and any other pertinent information, and we'll see council approval.
All right, this is an economic development project for Norfolk Southern. It's property located between Shelbyville and Simpsonville along I-64. For those who are familiar with the area, it was the Harley Davidson site. To develop this property, which Harley which Norfolk Southern is looking at through Economic Development Cabinet. It will require to initially get sewers on it, 750 gallon per minute pump station and 13,500 feet of 10-inch force main. They want to have the project in the system in case there is a proposed project through the state to where we can go ahead and quickly react to community development block grant money.
All right.
Any questions for Mr. Doyle regarding the project before we seek council approval? All right, on that, may I get a motion to approve this Norfolk Southern Sewage Pump Station and Force Main project for Shelbyville Municipal Sewer?
So moved, Jim Bruno.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Is that Pete?
Yes.
Thank you, Pete. All right, there you go, Tom. Thank you for that. We'll get that started in the portal and get Zach to get the mapping started for you so we can move forward with that.
Thank you very much.
That pretty much concludes my report. Once again, I just want to reiterate, thank you so much for Allie and Russell and Sandy for being our guest speakers today. Those were great presentations. And I look forward to working with all of you all in this 2021. Glad to put 2020 behind us. And it's always a pleasure working with you guys. And we got our hands full with the SRF and some CDBG projects. But if there's anything else that we can work with you guys to help out, be that asset management plan, capital improvement plans, asset inventories, let us know. We're here to help. Thank you,
Justin. You know, you got that great Wolfman Jack too, you know.
It's just I turned 40 tomorrow, so I might just shave it off. I don't know.
Hey, Rob, also does a second for the Geico caveman.
There you go. So I did notice that we had a couple other folks that I don't know if they want to say anything or not. Jory Becker is on here from Division of Water and didn't want to overlook Jory if he had anything he wanted to say.
Thanks, Russ. No, happy early birthday to Justin. Other than that, like Russ said, we're going to have a hole to fill with regard to Anshu and her experience with the facility planning process and ranking of the projects. But she's already, just so you know, she's already preliminary provided some of her stuff to us. So we're going to be hopefully smooth, and Russ taking care of the final rankings. Like Sandy had said earlier, goal will be to get those ranked lists back to KIA prior to March, so they can start work on the intended use plans. And other than that, I think things are rolling over here. We're just trying to keep the projects, the construction projects moving. We didn't get much of a gap this year. I know in terms of the actual field season usually dies in October, but we had a high roll of applications up into November. So I don't know what the numbers look like over the holiday time frame, but we have been busy and continue to keep things on time pretty well. If you have any issues, of course, most of you know how to get a hold of me. So just email or call and we can help you out. That's all I got right now. Thanks, Russell.
All right. Thanks, Jory. Also noticed, I don't see her on here now, but it may be on a different screen. I saw Kim Paget with RCAP. Kim, are you on here? Do you have anything you want to bring up?
I am Russ. Thanks so much. Just hello. Happy birthday to Justin. RCAP and AWWA, we are having a training next Wednesday. If anyone's interested, I can send the link to the page to Justin and he can share that with everyone. It's 6 CEUs for drinking water operators.
Wonderful.
It's over water quality regs review with Alicia Jacobs. We have large building, water quality, source water protection, and controlling lead. So those are the 4 main topics.
Okay, perfect.
Take care.
Thanks, Kim. Appreciate it. Justin, I think there was we had one other member come in, and I'm not sure if we missed, was if we got Mr. Bramlett from Newcastle. I'm pretty sure I saw him log in as well right after we took the roll.
Yeah, I made
Yeah,
it.
I got him.
Okay, perfect. Okay. That being said, anybody else have anything they want to bring up? Any county updates, other business? If not, really appreciate everybody. We've got great attendance and we were able to get it all done in just under an hour. So I think that's always a good one. So thanks again. And guess we'll see everybody next quarter. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Wait,
Bye,
we need a
Russ.
motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
yeah. Russ,
So
would you-
moved, Jim Bruno.
Stop.
Got a motion from Jim Bruno. I'm pretty sure I saw a second from Tom Dole.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Russ.